AustralianMusiciansRadio.com.
G'day, folkaroonies. It's your boy, Daniel M. Pern here, coming to you live from my house, but who gives a shit? Everyone's at home these days. Anyway, I am super keen to welcome you all to the very first of what will hopefully be many Barre Talk Shortcuts. Basically podcast episodes outside of our regular release schedule, which are going to generally be shorter in length and may feature all kinds of awesome content. So interviews with artists that we may be catching up with, maybe artists that haven't got songs coming out and we know throughout the community. Maybe even, interviews with non-music related people and, stuff and updates and news and, venues, interviews. I don't know. That's what I mean. This whole idea of the Barre Talk Shortcut is that it gives us the opportunity to expand our content and bring you stuff outside of our normal shit Wednesday night, live broadcasts and then Thursday podcasts, schedule. So, yeah. Why not? Let's get straight into it. This first one was done. This first interview we're doing, I did a little while back. It was not a little while back, like a good week or so ago now, with my good friend and fellow musician and former co-host of this very show, Jimmy Maddon. And we're just catching up with what he's got coming out. What he's been up to as well. He's just had a new single come out, a debut single, which we'll chat more about that. And he's been really busy with a bunch of other stuff. So, caught up with him. Got the chance to test out for the first time my brand new Zoom H5 microphone or portable recorder, which I got from Music Factory Direct. You can go to them at musicfactorydirect.com because they're awesome, formerly known as Drum Power Music Factory Bayswater. But yeah, Music Factory Direct have a whole range of products, including really high quality recording equipment, which we're now using and to produce the Barre Talk podcasts when we do it with Shakira. So the microphones you hear us talking on, we got a couple of pod mics from them. So, we're using their equipment for that, and now we're using it for outside broadcasts and these new shortcut interviews. So yeah. Without further ado, here it is, the Jimmy Maddon interview outside of my house on the street. Enjoy.
Hello, this is Jimmy Maddon, and you're listening to Barre Talk on Australian Musicians Radio.
Howdy. Welcome back, folks, to the Barre Talk podcast. I don't know what you've been listening to because I haven't, at this point in time, I haven't sorted out what episode this is on, nor what songs are going to be on there. Probably songs that haven't even been released yet, which is fine because I love playing the new tracks, as you all well know, up till now. Anyway, I better get straight into it because I'm really excited. For those of you who may keep in touch with my own music, Czar Green, you may have seen the other night I put on a live stream from my house with a few other musicians, including the talented Lantheria and Juicy, who have both been guests on the old episodes of Barre Talk pre-podcast days. And included in that lineup, apart from ourselves, was the former co-host of Barre Talk and multiple guest of AMR, Jimmy, and bona fide rock star and singing sensation, Jimmy Maddon, who is here with me right now, testing out my new Zoom while we interview him. How you going, Jimmy?
I'm good, Daniel, and everyone listening, I hope you're happy to hear my voice in the airwaves again. I think technically we can call this the 9th AMR appearance as a guest, so I've got one more till Gareth gets me my banner.
Really? I thought the 9th one had already gone. The last time was the 9th one as a guest. Or have you been keeping proper count?
Well, since I can't legally go and run through a banner there, we're going to call this number 9 till I'm allowed back into the studio. As in when I'm allowed because of social distancing.
Oh, well, you're allowed back. It's just, you're living out with Alana in Point Cook. So, for those of you who remember when, the Min Factory days when Alana would travel 2 hours to get to the studio, like that's what you got to deal with now.
Yeah, it's sort of, the good thing about being a musician, you can be living anywhere. But the pub's just not quite the same as where I used to be.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the Blackie.
No, it's the folk, different folk out my way now.
How would you... Do you find that the different suburbs breed different folk, so to speak? Or do the folk make the suburbs? Like, what is that, like the chicken? Is this like the chicken and the egg thing?
I don't know. I think yes, chicken and the egg. What comes first, the suburb or the folk? I think probably the people make the suburb ultimately, because I think it's the people make the suburb.
Yeah. That's a good observation.
It's a Twitter question, that one, for the people listening at home.
We'll put up a poll on Twitter. Yeah. What comes first, the suburb or the people?
Exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing the results.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, we didn't come here just to chat shit, which we do tend to do
from time to time.
Yeah. We actually wanted to chat because as of recording, it was yesterday. Still Saturday. As of yesterday, which it'll be probably a little while now when the episode comes up. But you recently released. Anyway, the point is, you recently released you finally, after how many years, released your debut single.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, they said you can't rush a Picasso, can you?
I think time's going to have to. We'll have to let time tell whether this will be your masterpiece. But I mean, your album hasn't come out yet. This is only the first offering off your new album or your upcoming album.
Yeah, I think hopefully if my first release isn't my masterpiece, because it would not leave a lot for the rest of my career, would it?
No, you don't want to be one of those like one-hit wonders where it's the first single. That
would be bad. I mean, I'm only in my early 20s yet, so I've got a lot of living to do with just one hit.
Yeah, you've got to have, there's plenty of room for multiple breakdowns and breakups and
rehab, yeah.
And crazy world tours. There'll be plenty of inspiration there.
Exactly.
Actually, speaking of, so the new single is called Do I Turn You On? I was hoping, well, actually, before we get onto that though, speaking of tours, you were at this point in time supposed to be on the other side of the world, weren't you?
Correct. I was meant to be on my second British and sort of / European tour, but there's a wee little virus that's travelling around the world at the moment that's made that a bit hard.
Yeah, it's pretty much been a topic of every interview. Like, I think every guest that plays live that we've had on the podcast so far has had some sort of plan disrupted over the last few months, which is, it just tells you, like, I don't think any of us have ever just experienced something so disruptive before in our lives.
No, I mean, the only saving grace is that everyone's in the same position. I think if it was just me or something, it'd be quite a downer. A setback like this, but the fact that everyone's in the same boat and we're all feeling the pinch makes it an easier pill to swallow, if not an unfortunate one still.
Yeah, no, true. So I was checking that we're actually still recording, which we are. That's all good. I'm here talking to Jimmy Maddon here on the Barre Talk podcast about his new single. Let's talk about the new single too. Give us a little rundown, because I know you've always talked to me about how you have a lot of different influences, and you've tried to, in our conversations, tried to make each song on the album different and unique in its own way. So I was wondering, where does this single fit into the wider the wider encompassing theme of the album?
Sonically, it's much more straightforward than probably any of the other songs on the record.
So it's a bit more of your punk influence, which I know you do have a bit of that.
Yeah, and probably pop as well. I think when I wrote it, I definitely thought that the instruments I could hear in my head definitely led towards it being a poppy single. But obviously, until you get into the studio, you don't know how it's going to happen. And quite early on with this one, I think we kind of heard the song forming, and it was a conscious effort to perhaps not Jimmyfy it, which is to put too many harmonies or key changes or something in, and just keep it simple. And I think we knew we had a good song early on and made it easier.
Fair enough. So this wasn't, because I hadn't heard you play this song live until tonight. You actually played it live, which it actually worked for a live song. I was kind of surprised after listening to it. You listen to the studio version, it is quite a electric song. It's quite a very band focused song, a lot of guitar and piano and drums. But acoustically, I thought it worked really well, and the licks, the licks worked well acoustically and solo.
Yeah, I think I never really played it live before because there's quite a lot going on with it. And then obviously having released it now, I mean, like in the chorus, it's not actually chords playing, it's individual notes making up the chord. If you listen to it breaking down, it's about 4 or 5 different guitars working through it. So it was one of those ones where I thought, I don't know if I can do this live, and I was singing it quite high as well, and I thought, it's a risk live to go for notes like that. As you know, like late in tours too, your voice starts to give way. But I think now it's come out as a single, I've kind of forced my hand a bit, and it's a chance to change it and readapt it and rework it and make it different. So the live experience is different from the studio experience, which, as you know, has always been a very big focus of mine.
Fair enough. Well, congratulations. It truly is a milestone, and something you've been telling me is going to be happening for the last, I think, 4 years, which I think I noted in an Instagram story. Is like, man, my first single's coming out this year. Jimmy Maddon 2016.
I think, obviously we were delayed with a couple of tours in between, and then the virus didn't help, but it was definitely one of those where when I started the project with Carl Frederick, we said, it doesn't matter if this thing takes 5 years or 5 weeks, as long as when I release it, it sort of, shoots up the charts and goes number one in theory, which is why there was a delay, because we never had to get it out for any reason. We never had to have it out by a certain time. I didn't have any other music out, so there's nothing to compare it to. We could take our time and really refine it and refresh it and make it the best record that we possibly could. Yeah,
so now that you have, I suppose you've got music out there and something to compare, are you feeling the pressure building up on you as a self-marketer and doing your own PR as well? What's it like having to juggle those aspects as well as the recording and writing and performing?
Well, I don't sleep as much as I thought I would, but
even though you got nothing else, even though you're stuck in the house.
I mean, yes, exactly. I think the fact that sort of being an international act who's gone overseas before means that sort of every hour of the day someone's emailing you or commenting or doing something. So you find if you get up in the morning to go to the bathroom or something, you just always check your phone because you just don't know what's come in. But in terms of like something to compare it to now, I mean, obviously it's done like probably exceeded my own expectations in terms of numbers viewed and streamed and stuff. So it does put the pressure on for the next one. But I think it's sort of healthy competition to have something that I'm now striving for. But at the end of the day, I mean, each song is completely its own bracket. I mean, no song ever is equal to another. So I think you just got to focus. It's got to be now. This one's done. It's out there. Celebrate it and enjoy it for a couple of days, and then focus shifts to the next one. I sort of move on, and the PR changes, and I've got control of the song while I write it and I record it. The moment it's out there, it's in the hands and the control of the public, and it's their song now. So there's nothing to compare it to, because it's not my song anymore. It's people who love it and enjoy it and relate to it, and I can only focus on the next one that's coming out and then the one after that. So I think as far as being worried about how it's going to compare, the different projects ultimately, and as I said, it's not in my, it's in the lap of the gods from here. There's nothing I can do with the song now to change how it is.
Cool. No, that's good observation, and yeah, I can tell it's going to be a wild ride from here on in. Can, just for the sake of building up expectation on single number 2 and what comes down further, what can we expect from your future? Well, I guess the future releases that are on the album. Just a little teaser, I guess.
Single-wise, I mean, the next one's nothing like the first. So this first one's quite a straightforward punky rock sort of, Who/New York Dolls type of record.
I'm just going to put my umbrella on because I don't want to get my brand new recording equipment wet because it's starting to spit. Hang on. Hold this for a sec. Yeah. Well, tell us about the next single while I'm getting the umbrella out.
So the first one was quite a straightforward hit song, but the second one's definitely a completely different tact. It's got harmonies and the key changes and stuff in it that
the Maddon-esque, the Maddon-esque we all come to know and love.
And then the third one is sort of a completely different style again. It's sort of 2 songs into one. It's sort of it's not traditional flow. So all 3 will be very different. I think it's very important to establish very early that you'll never get the same thing twice with them. I mean, you'll never quite know what you're going to get, because sometimes I don't even know what I'm writing.
Fair enough. And that's not a bad thing, come out with something that exceeds your expectations.
I think it helps, because one day inevitably I will fulfill my dream of doing a disco record, and I think if people come to expect what they don't expect, it's going to make it a lot easier for people to stomach my
Something that eventual country and western phase you'll have at album 4.
Yeah, if I do some weird electro sort of, I just don't know what could happen. But yeah, I think, as you mentioned at the beginning, obviously I listen to a lot of different music and inspired by a lot of different things. And, just because the music I'm making now doesn't mean I'm going to be listening to this sort of music in a few years' time. And, I don't know what I'll be inspired by or what the producer will be inspired by at the time. So I think it's important to establish that, it's always going to be a bit different.
Yeah.
Within the same boundaries, but bit different.
Yeah. And just real quickly, because you've always mentioned him, and I think it's worth giving him a shout out, Carl Frederick, your producer. Just again, for those of you that don't know the story, how you met, because it is a good story, and why you chose him as the producer for the album.
Yeah, so it was time to make a record, and I had the songs there, but I think I met with about 10 producers or sound engineers. And
you'd actually started recording with someone we know quite well, I remember.
Yes, well, Finn was one of them we looked at. It was very early days conversation about how we could record, and if I remember, we maybe laid down the skeleton of 1 or 2 tracks. But for one reason or another, never really went forward. I probably agreed that the partnership, the feel wasn't there.
Because it is about whether the producer shares your vision as well, isn't it?
Exactly, and I think he did, but he definitely came from a different musical background, and we often sort of. Funnily enough, actually, I think I taught him something with some of the harmony ideas I'd showed him. So in that regard, he didn't really. We just came from different places. So I kind of put the album on ice and thought, well, I'm not going to spend the money until I get the right guy. And I was out at the Post Hotel in Richmond, and
I'm actually not aware of that place, but sounds like a good place.
Across from the Corner Hotel.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
I used to walk past there to work.
Yeah, I think it's Posty, and I was in there having a beer and at a party I think I didn't really want to be at.
Don't we all go through that?
Exactly, and the things you do for a girlfriend at the time. But yeah, I was actually I just got talking to him. Carl was DJing there that night, and a friend of his introduced us, so I made conversation with, and next thing you know, we're up there in the DJ booth having a trivia on who knows more about Queen. No, I think.
Oh no! And you just went down the rabbit warren.
Yeah, I think I'll say it ended in a draw, but really I won that quiz. And then sort of from there we got talking about the record, and we had a couple of beers a couple of times, and the question came off, "Do you want to record you?" And the rest, as I say, is history.
Well, future history, because it hasn't all come out yet.
No. So each single's going to be dropped out. There's a bit of a marketing campaign behind what's going on. So yeah, but it'll be good, and then hopefully this does well. I'll get back in the studio for JM2 and see what happens from there, and hopefully try and have a couple of records out in quick succession to catch up for the lost time.
Sweet. We'll just touch briefly as well before I know this 5-minute interview now turns into 20 minutes.
Yeah, as it always does with us.
This is going to be like a dual interview episode now. Yay. Anyway, very quickly, of course, you've got some merch out. So where can people find that and order or / get some off you?
At the moment, facebook.com/Jimmy Maddon, Maddon. But with the virus halting production, I'm currently out of stock.
When the virus leaves and restarts production, what items will you have for sale?
Mugs. Bobbleheads, t-shirts, hoodies, the usual sort of range of clothing merchandise, and a few other sort of fun items to have a laugh with.
Yeah, you've actually got the t-shirt on now, and I know our viewers, I'm going to hold up the microphone so you can see it.
Get a photo for the page. We can get a photo for the page.
Yeah. But it's got your logo on it, which looks really cool. You got that recently designed. Yeah,
so that was the sort of obviously, Queen being such a big influence, there's a few homages to Queen hidden in there for those who can tell, and the regal aspect of my background, mixed in with the sort of over the top wankiness that I think my music brings out. I am just really pouncing about on stage for the most part. I seem to have made a career out of it, Daniel. And
you got to make a career out of something.
Exactly. So so the idea was hand drawn by me, but cleaned up very well by Cody Mostert of Cody Mostert designs if you're looking for anything.
Cool. Yeah. Kudos to him. He's done a good job. Well, other social media. So Jimmy Maddon on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Have you got anything else?
There is a .com, but it's not currently live at the moment. But yeah, no, for the most part, your usual social media channels are where you can find me. YouTube is Jimmy Maddon Official, because I just got a little bit overexcited when I was younger and thought I'd best get in with the official first.
Yeah, got to stop them fakes coming through.
Exactly, because I can't get the blue ticks yet. I don't have enough. I don't have enough likes.
Yeah, so Jimmy Maddon Official on YouTube, which the single is out on there, as well as all the streaming sites.
Yes, all the streaming sites, all the purchasing websites. So if you look me up into anything, it will be the only one that's there. You can also Shazam it and Siri it, apparently. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Siri, play Jimmy Maddon. Playing James I was trying to think of something there. James Mars. Is there a guy called James Marsden that sings? I don't know.
The name's familiar. I'm not... Yeah,
I don't know. Siri, I don't know what's going on. Do you know?
I don't have... Because I don't have an iPhone. I don't really know what a Siri is.
It's the fake voice thing. It's like, Siri, what is the temperature outside? Or weather. The temperature is 400 degrees and the weather is apocalyptic.
Well, you see, because I've got Bixby because of the Android, and whenever I try and talk to it, it always just says, "You're not set up for this." And I thought, the phone's set up to do it, so I just... Technology is not my strong point. If you ever see me on a computer, please give me a hand.
It's probably seen how many times... The phone's probably heard how many times you've sworn at it, and that's probably why it doesn't like you.
Probably. It does things I don't ever need it. I need it to do.
The AI is learning, just saying.
It is. I once spent too long on YouTube watching videos on AI and how it's going to take over the world, and I am well versed in how we're going to go down.
Ride the wave, as they say. Ride the wave. Exactly. You're all over that social media. No, but yeah, go to him, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and of course check out the new single, Do I Turn You On? But not right before we play it, which we're going to play it right now. Jimmy, thanks so much for taking the time out. I better let you go because your girlfriend's probably like, where the hell is he?
Exactly, it's getting on now. But at least it's not raining, which is a nice change. But yeah, no, thank you, obviously, Gareth and yourself for giving it a spin. It's been a long time coming. And It's No Cool Change by Sons of Rico.
Oh no!
Which I still listen to, by the way. And
it is a great track.
You should, if you listen to this, go and check it out. Give it a spin on the show after my track. And I'm glad to have something out. And as I said, if you come across it on social media, please do me a favour and give it a like and leave a comment. Let me know, and let me know if you found it through AMR as well. I got a long history with the station, and it'd be lovely to know that people have come across me via the old chat.
That's it. No, I love your support too. You sent the single to us nice and early, so it's good to know that you haven't forgotten us over there in FTG.
No, I think you're the only station who keeps getting me back on.
The only ones that can deal with you mean?
Exactly. That's because you guys can't move like the rest of them.
True. No, thanks again. Pleasure. Well, I guess we'll play it now. It's Do I Turn You On by Jimmy Maddon. On which podcast are you listening to?
You're listening to Barre Talk on AMR. And just briefly before I go, there's been a bit of confusion with the title. It is there's a sort of irony to the title, and I think that's been lost in translation. So I am not legitimately asking you, but I think the lesson is try not to be too clever with song titles in the future.
Yeah, that's it. Do I Turn You On? Let's do it right now. Barre Talk.
Thank you.
Bye.
Tell me baby, 'cause our knees are getting shaky and your eyes are rolling back. Do I turn you on? Do I turn you on? Cowboys on a tactic set, I rip your best blue jeans. I'm Marty Roy, win the move, who won the lust on 7 seas. Sitting in my solitude, no races up my sleeve. Won't be blowing a kiss at me on a gloomy June afternoon. It's breathing, getting hotter, my thumb's going to water, 'cause tonight I'll break your heart. We suck it and see, baby, 'cause our knees are getting shaky and your eyes are rolling back. Do I turn you on? Do I turn you on? It's breathing, getting hotter, my thumb's going to water, 'cause tonight I'll break your heart. We suck it and see, baby, 'cause our knees are getting shaky and your eyes are rolling back. Do I turn you on? Do I turn you on?
Well. There you go, folks. That was the brand new debut single, Do I Turn You On, by Jimmy Maddon. I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you go and check his stuff out, of course, as we were saying. And please let me know what you think, and send us your feedback too, because I want to do more of these, and want to know sort of what content you want to hear, because at the end of the day, it's all about you. We want to make sure you're getting more of the stuff that you want to hear. Anyway, I do apologise. I will have to redact. I know I didn't mention at the start, of course. I kept thinking at the time it was going to be part of a normal episode. But you know what? We all learn as we go, as you do. So thanks for bearing with us while we sort of stumble blindly trying to work out how to properly make a show. Anyway, make sure you do go onto our Facebook, our social medias, Barre Talk AMR Show on Facebook, of course, Twitter, Instagram, AMR_Australia. Please go to the website to AustralianMusiciansRadio.com for the Barre Talk page /Barre Talk. You'll find all of the podcasts linked there. All of our podcasts, of course, are now distributed via Acast and hosted there. So please go to the Acast website, or our Acast hosting website, shows.acast.com /Barre Talk. It'll all come out there. Find this out on Acast or wherever you get your podcasts. See you later, folks.
AustralianMusiciansRadio.com